What's up? What's up? Welcome to Rae Chats. Are we live? Is this thing on? Tapping into my TS Madison. What's up, my people? Welcome back to Rae Chats Live. Every Wednesday, I told you we all are going to be here. We are here to talk about a long list of trending topics that I wrote down, by the way. Make sure you are liking the live. Share this live with someone that you think can join the conversation with us, because remember, over here we keep it real, raw, and always relatable. First, I need y'all to tap in the comments and let me know where you're joining from. I appreciate you all joining me here tonight because we have a lot to talk about. So make sure while you're watching, I don't want to talk to myself. I want to talk to you. So join the chat, drop your thoughts in the comment below. Let me know where you're watching from because we're going to get into some things tonight. But of course, like I always say, I will feel so wrong if I get on this microphone and this camera every single week to talk about trending news, celebrity gossip, and we don't at least start with the stuff that's going on in the real world, because we are all still here living and breathing, thank God. But our current political climate is something that I can't ignore. And I hope you're not ignoring it, because we cannot go on each day as if America's not in shambles. So, last time we were here, last week, we talked about President Trump, the current administration, and this crazy ass war in Iran. And the first thing I said, if you was watching last week, if you remember, I was like, I honestly wish that I can personally speak to someone that's a part of MAGA or a Trump supporter to honestly ask them how they feel about how he's doing so far. It's been a year of him in office, and I really wanted to know what they really thought about this war. Honey, the journalist done beat me to it. Check out this video. A news reporter went out into the field to speak to Trump supporters, and he was just on the street with his microphone, and he was asking them questions about how they feel about Trump, if they voted for him, and how they feel about this war. I want y'all to first tap into the comments. I need to know where you're watching me from before we get into this topic. I need to know where my people at. If you're watching from New York, if you're watching from North Carolina, tap it into the comments and let me know where you're watching me from, because I would definitely want to engage with you all. The first topic that we're going to talk about tonight is, of course, the war in Iran, and Trump supporters are reacting to it. And baby, they are mad. They are mad. They are upset. Let's take a listen to this.
About them. Like, why are we sticking our noses where we don't belong?
What do you think about the decision?
I'm
Trump
going to
was going
rewind
to
it
hear
back.
you right now. What would it be?
You are a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
Are you displeased with the war in Iran?
Yes, it's not our war. We should not be sending our soldiers over there to get harmed when.
Listen, I'm going to rewind it back for my people who just joined and they didn't really hear what this say. This lady is out on the street. She's at the gas station pumping gas, and this reporter walks up to her and he starts to ask her questions about President Trump. And she says she voted for him not once, not twice, but 3 times. Let's take a listen.
If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You are a worthless pile of.
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
Are you displeased with the war in Iran?
Yes, it's not our war. We should not be sending our soldiers over there to get harmed when it's not about us. It's about them. Like, why are we sticking our noses where we don't belong?
What do you think?
Listen, let's talk about Miss Thing. First of all, this video right here are people that are in Pennsylvania. So it's not here in North Carolina, it's not in New York. These are Pennsylvania residents who voted for Trump. This lady said she voted for him 3 times. And honestly, she's upset at what's going on, and she feels like a fool because she voted for him 3 times. And this answered the question that I put in the chat last week. I was honestly concerned and curious to know what people actually felt like. Do they feel like buyer's remorse, or are they even, sad about the fact that the person that they voted for and they thought was gonna lower taxes, lower gas, lower the cost of eggs, do this and do that. And now here we are at war. She cursed his ass out. She wasn't the only one who has something to say. Let's listen to Grandpa right here.
About the decision to strike Iran?
It was a great decision. I think somebody else should have done it a couple of years ago. Last 3 other presidents.
Are you willing to pay higher prices at the pump if that's the cost?
Yeah, I'm willing to pay a little more. Yeah.
Why do you think gas?
Okay, so we have a senior citizen who is at the gas pump. He's standing there and he see that the gas is high as hell, and he is doubling down and standing behind his decision to vote for Donald Trump. And I honestly thought that this is how all of MAGA felt, because I've seen people say, yeah, he's doing a great job. And he stood by it. Good for him. He put his face in that camera. He said, I'm actually so happy that we are at war in Iran. And it's so crazy because it is so easy for all of us to be very jaded in our experiences and so caught up in our own little personal circles and our own little, bubbles, where we only hang out with people that are Democrats. We only hang out with people that's from where we're from. And we only hang out with people that think the way we think. So some people really are not privy to what the other side is thinking outside of what we see on TV and social media. And I honestly feel like for a long time, I would say before I moved to North Carolina, that was the case for me. But honestly, to hear him say, yes, I voted for him and I am happy about this war. He even said that he would be willing to pay more in gas because he feels like it's worth it. Do y'all know how many people probably feel that way? Let me know in the comments if you agree with what he said, because I'm very surprised. Okay, so he wasn't the only person that they interviewed. They interviewed somebody else. Let's take a listen.
Prices going up.
War. Yeah, that's all I know.
Are you pleased with us being in Iran?
Not really. No, there should be no war. What do you do?
What do you think about President Trump? How's he doing?
No comment.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you got what you paid for. You got what you voted for. And there's thousands, there's people all over the world right now sitting in regret. And the crazy thing about it is we have a few more years of this. So it's like, what else is going to happen? Anyway, excuse me. Let's move on. Something else that I wanted to talk about, and it's still in the political corner, in the political arena. Unfortunately, this war in Iran is not the only thing that we're dealing with. As we all is currently seeing, our president and his administration, they are sticking their nose in everybody's business all over the world, even outside of the United States. And shit is getting real. So apparently this week, actually on Monday, Cuba was without power. Literally, not for a few hours, not like, a quick little shutdown in a certain area. 11 million citizens all over Cuba, not one street, not one little city or town or area. No, 11 million people in Cuba were without power. I think they said for more than 29 hours. So Monday it was announced that they lost their entire power grid. And this morning, or I think yesterday, late, it was announced that the power was restored, not in the entire country, but in certain areas. And the only thing that I could think of when I first read this headline was, what about the hospitals? It's one thing to be at home. You could pull out your candles. You could pull all your meat out the fridge, put it in a cooler, sit outside, do what you can. But think about all of the babies, those that are bedridden in hospitals that are like relying on electricity for ventilators. Um, I was just like, oh my gosh, like I just can't believe it. And the crazy thing about this is it's so political why this happened. It's so political. Yes, we all know that Cuba has an old infrastructure and they've always, for many years, been dealing with, blackouts or whatever it may be. But this situation is way bigger. It's about politics, it's about resources, and it's about people in Cuba that are already without, trying to survive on the small amount that they have. And it's disgusting. As you can see, this picture right here that I have on the screen is people out in the street trying to survive. I think they said for over 29 hours throughout the entire country. And millions, I think 11 million was the number, without power. And I want y'all to think to yourselves, if you don't already know, why do you think this happened? It's because of fuel. They didn't receive fuel for, I think, over 3 months. They went without receiving fuel. And the reason why is because President Trump and his administration cut all of their fuel supplies and told other countries, you better not give them any fuel, because if you do, I'm going to hike up the tariffs. So it basically was like a threat and forcing other companies to not help Cuba, and that's why they ran out of the oil that they had in the reserve. They basically didn't have any because they couldn't receive any from nobody. And what's so crazy about this is they already have an old system that's outdated. It's poorly maintained because of the lack of funding that they have. So they've already been dealing with power issues. So now, because of President Trump, he was like, oh no, we're not going to give you all no more oil. Yeah, I just can't believe some of the headlines and some of the stuff that I read. I'm like, it's crazy. But we all know that this dilemma between the US and Cuba, it's not new. It's nothing new. This has been going on for years. But what's so crazy about it is the US is not the US. I'm going to say Trump. Um he said I could do anything I want with Cuba. He said those words, like, I quote. He said I could do anything with Cuba. He talked about taking over the country and trying to make it a part of the US. He was like, yeah, they have great lands, especially for resorts, and great weather, while the country is literally without oil and suffering. The Cuba government responded to the US because the US basically said, oh, it's your fault that you all have been without oil all this time because your government don't know how to manage themselves. It's mismanagement of the government. Cuba's president said, no, the United States is trying to suffocate my country, and they're trying to take control of my country and my country's resources, and we are not having it. So I am going to continue to follow this story, but I want y'all to chime in the comments and let me know, could you go 24 hours without power? Have you ever been 24 hours without power? I have never experienced my power going out for that amount of time. And it wasn't until I moved from New York to North Carolina that I even had to experience like consistent blackouts where the power used to go out all the time here. In New York, we had a big blackout when I was younger, but the power goes out all the time in the South. We have electricity, power lines go down because of a storm. Once a tree and a power line go down, honey, we're in the dark. But I have never, thankfully, experienced it for 24 hours. And all I could think about is the poor babies, the elderly, and the people who were bedridden inside the hospital and relying on fuel to give them power. Because big companies that have a lot of money, especially here in America, our hospitals and stuff have generators. They don't have that out there. The country can barely survive. The situation in Cuba is like bigger than just the lights being turned off. It's about politics, resources, and people trying to survive every day. And if you're watching the replay, I want you to chime in into the comments and let me know, who do you blame? Who do you blame? The Cuba's government, or do you think it's the fault of the US, or do you think it's just the lack of infrastructure and lack of resources that they have in their country? I want to hear from you, and if you're watching the replay, make sure you chime back into the comments. Okay, I know you all are here to talk about Mase. Y'all like, we don't want to talk about the government anymore. We want to talk about mess. We want to talk about the celebrities and their mess. Okay. The first thing that I saw trending today, and I said, come on, fellas, we got to do better. We got to do better than this. Come on. Did you all see today on social media that damn Rae J? That damn Rae J. I don't know what he got going on. I don't know what type of drugs he on. Somebody needs to send help. Send the mama. Where's the mama and the daddy? Because I don't know what's going on with him. Anyway, Rae J called out Mase, Cameron, and Shyne because on Cameron's and Mase podcast, they had Shyne on as a special guest. And during the segment, they decided to bring up Shyne's past relationship with Brandy. And apparently nobody knew about this. Cam was joking with the guys and he was like, oh, I heard both of y'all was with her. Apparently she was dating Mase and Shyne at the same time. Listen, we can't judge her. She was young. She was outside. She was dating. I guess neither one of them she took serious. I don't know what it is. But Shyne tells the story about how he was fangirling over Brandy because before he became, part of Bad Boy, he was a fan of hers. And so when he finally became famous, he was like, I was so happy to get her. I was bragging. And then I found out, oh, she was also messing with Mase too. And he didn't know. Rae J was mad at them. Let's listen to this whole little debacle that was going on social media. So first, we're going to listen to Mase, Cam, and Shyne.
What happened with Brandy and everything? Let's just do it.
Listen,
let's do it. We dealing with Brandy.
Okay, let me switch my glass. You know what happened? We going.
You was dating Brandy at one time, or y'all was just, how'd it go?
I was special, He came in and wanted to be special. So,
all that laughing because they knew that it was going to go
no lies told.
Yeah,
he was Shaq.
Okay.
He was the champion. He was the MVP.
Right.
I was Kobe, no pun intended, because they said Kobe was a special friend of Brandy's as well.
Right.
But no pun intended.
Right.
But I was coming out of high school on the championship team, and he was the superstar of the team.
Right.
But I definitely did want to be special. I definitely, but I had no idea. So what happened?
Yeah.
What happened with Brandy and everything?
A mutual friend who was a snitch.
Thank you,
So
honey.
I'm not. I think he know who it is.
Right.
I'm not gonna expose him.
Right.
But so I was so excited because this is my dream person.
Right. Talk about Brandy.
Brandy,
Right.
Poor kid, Brooklyn, watching MTV, watching Moesha, watching her on BET, and you know, as a dream, I'm like, man, if she was to know Shyne,
Right.
I got that.
Right.
So when I came up, she was in the crosshairs. Like I was sniping.
Right.
And yeah, I had no idea though, because he was special.
Right.
So he was running that playbook
Right.
so discreetly, so quietly. I had no idea.
Yeah,
Okay, I want y'all to listen to what he just said. He said Mase was being so discreet and so quiet, and that's the damn truth, because this is the first time that I am ever hearing anything about Brandy dating Mase and dating Shyne. And he said that Mase and Brandy was actually pretty serious, but Shyne, mind you, they both were on Bad Boy at the time. Neither one of them knew that they were dating. They both was dating her. And it wasn't until Shyne was like chilling with her at her house, and she's like, who are you talking to about us? Because whoever the person was that he was telling was going back to Mase like, yo, your girl's chilling with Shyne. Anyway, after they kikied about it on the podcast and laughed about it, Ray J went on his stream and he cursed them out, and he kind of went off a little bit. Let's listen to what Ray J had to say about them talking about his big sister.
Snaky.
Okay.
Nigga, all three of y'all is like the Three Stooges, nigga. And y'all looking real attractive. So when I see y'all niggas, y'all better not have that skirt on, nigga. Y'all better pull y'all panties up. You know what I'm saying? For real. I see y'all. I know where y'all at. I know where y'all at. Y'all be slipping too in Vegas, walking around the wind, acting like y'all winning. Nigga get some money and have to do 5,000 shows. Fucking bitch. Fuck y'all niggas. Hoe ass niggas. Give you a venereal, nigga. Fucking punks. Where Bussy Baby? Where Back Shots? Y'all come in and get some too, nigga. Yeah, nigga. Come in and get some of this. Get some of this Cameron ass.
What?
Nigga. I will not tolerate it, nigga. And neither will LA.
Ray J, are you good?
I'm talking about all of Los Angeles, nigga. Everybody give a fuck about what my sister said, nigga. She probably ain't gonna ever watch this type of shit. But I'm watching you, nigga. And I'm watching you close, nigga. And I see you shave your legs, nigga.
What is he talking about? I'm concerned. I'm concerned. Jenna, what just happened? I am concerned. Somebody go do a welfare check, because that was a little bit too much for me. I couldn't take it. Like, first of all, I love the fact that, of course, little bro is coming to the defense of his sister, because I think the way the conversation went is like if they was trying to call Brandy our Cinderella like a hoe. They didn't say it, but they was like joking about the fact that she was dating the both of them or whatever it may be. So it's like putting her business out there, and Ray J didn't like that. But where he lost me was joking with three men about basically doing some man on man. Anyway, Ray J, we're worried about you. Where's Princess? Where's the kids? I don't know. But of course, they didn't leave it. They didn't care that he was talking about them, because they started to respond back to him on their page and posted this video of Ray J, I guess, getting slapped by somebody before. I don't know. Let me share my screen. This is getting out of hand. Grown men, they all in their 40s. Are they in their 50s? Okay. I guess because Ray J started to threaten them, they went on the podcast page and started sharing pictures of them, videos of them when they was when he got slapped or something. I don't know. At the end of the day, we're too old for this. Brandy probably wasn't gonna see it unless somebody sent it to her. And I know for a fact that she wasn't gonna respond. But little bro, of course, had to come to her defense. And I just wasn't feeling it. It was very weird. And I think now with the streamers and a lot of these celebrities streaming their lives 24/7, we're starting to see a lot of people were on drugs. He had the cup in his hand, and it just was a little off for me. I feel like we have to have somebody like, I don't know, where are the managers, the A&R, to kind of step in to be like, turn the camera off, or okay, let's end the stream now, because it went a little too far. It went a little too far for my liking, and I just was like, I don't know. Forget that mess. Let's talk about some good news. Oh, thank you so much, honey. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about, hold on, let me share my screen. Okay, so this is some great news to share. If you all have been following, the WNBA was basically going on strike because they said, listen, y'all are paying the men the big bucks in the NBA, and you know this has been going on for years. We want our money as well. They first started out with wearing the shirts, pay us what you owe us on the fields, coming together, and it was like 50 one days, I think, of them trying to protest to try to get the owners and the people that make the decisions regarding the salaries to try to increase their salaries. So after months of tense negotiations and public pressure, I'm so happy to say that the WNBA and the Women's National Basketball Players Association, you know, it's the association that helps to take care of the players, they reached a verbal agreement, and they're going to change the league's minimum to 300K. And the maximum will be 1.4 million. So the first thing I thought when I read this article was like, damn, why they had to put a maximum? Like, okay, we're happy that you came to an agreement, but why did you have to put a maximum on it? Because we know for a fact there are men in the NBA that make more than 1.4 million. Anyway, 300K as the minimum salary, I think is amazing, because there are a lot of NBA players that make less than that. Like, they make the amount of money that people can make working in the office or like working at Amazon after you put in all of these years training, going to college, doing, you know, the hard work to make it to the NBA, and your salary is not really equal to or more than what your male counterparts are getting. And that's not fair, because at the end of the day, it should not matter if you are a male or a female. They both just got a ball and thrown it around the court. But I'm happy for them. And when I was reading the article, I was thinking to myself, I'm just so happy that the new generation is just doing so many things differently from the older generation. So I know all of the like old WNBA legends is probably really happy to see the young girls stepping up and like fighting and speaking out against these corporations, because I think the older generations was kind of like scared to do that. But these new girls are different. First of all, they are getting paid in college. They have bigger platforms. so many endorsements that's so different than the older generation of the WNBA players. So I'm just so happy to see that they was able to come to an agreement. And I'm just so happy that the players actually had the guts to step up and speak out and fight for their right to get the pay that they deserve. So good for you, ladies. Okay, moving on. Let me see here. Oh my goodness. This is some more bad news, and this is still some political news. The Transportation Security Administration, better known as TSA, currently have 50,000 TSA workers on the job, currently working hours with 3-hour waits. People are lined up at the airport, 3-hour waits, and they are working for free because there's a partial government shutdown. The government is not completely shut down. What's happening is because of the budget, there are only certain departments that's able to still get paid. And unfortunately, TSA is one of those departments where they are currently not able to access that money that's in that budget to pay people. And it's just so disgusting. And this is not the first time. I know we just came off of a government shutdown, and TSA workers are tired. Over 300 plus TSA workers said, I don't care what y'all talking about. Last time y'all took X amount of days to pay us, we're quitting. Over 300 plus TSA workers quit because, first of all, they're not even getting paid enough as it is. They have to work all of those long hours. And now, what used to be a government job was so secure, every other day it's shutting down, so you don't know if you're going to get paid. And the thing about it is, most people, I don't have the percentage, I should have pulled it up. A lot of people, more than you think, literally live paycheck to paycheck. So they're probably still recover from the first government shutdown that we just went through, catch back up on bills, and now they back at work and still not getting paid. It's sad. It's so sad. So if you have any vacations coming up, instead of trying to get to the airport 2 hours, especially big airports like JFK, Atlanta, Houston, you better get there. They said 3 hours plus earlier because the lines are long. TSA workers are walking out on the job, and we need to get them people paid. Something that I saw that was so nice, Heavenly. I don't know if y'all watch Married to Medicine. Dr. Heavenly, she actually rented a big old truck. Let me see if I can pull it up. And she filled it up with a bunch of food, and she went and delivered food to the TSA workers in Atlanta to help them out. And I'm like, damn, they don't want food, they want money. People always want to donate food. Let me see if I can pull it up, Dr. Heavenly. I don't have it on here, but she was in a video and she decided to show up at the Atlanta airport because she heard about the 300 workers that walked out, and she showed up and donated a bunch of workers. Okay, I'm not ignoring you all in the comments. Dawn, hey, how are you? Thank you so much for joining the live, honey. I appreciate it. Right now, we're talking about the partial, I don't want to scare people, the partial government shutdown where you have 50,000 TSA workers are currently working for free because they can't get paid. But the good thing is, remember last time they did give them a big bonus, but you know, with the bonus, they put a lot of tax on it. And we just finished talking about Ray J and his crazy self. And before that, we were talking about Cuba being without power and the war in Iran, and Trump supporters saying that they are so sad that they voted for him and they are mad about, they are so mad about this war. Moving on. If you all remember, hold on one sec. I can't. If you all remember, there was back a few months ago, there was a couple that wasn't supposed to be a couple that went viral because they were at a Coldplay concert. And you know, when you go to concerts or like basketball games, they have like the little kiss cam that goes around in the stadium. And when you with your boo, you turn and you kiss towards it. There was a couple that you see here. I got their picture on the screen. They were at the Coldplay concert. And once the camera got on them, they ran away. And everybody was like, oh no, they must be cheating. So child, I just cannot understand how this situation that went viral, this lady ended up getting an interview with the Oprah Winfrey. She sat down with Oprah Winfrey to discuss this whole situation. Look at this video.
Very close working relationship. For anyone that's worked in tech in a high growth startup, they'll understand that the chief people officer and the CEO are partners. We work side by side around the clock. It was a high growth startup that was growing at 100% year over year. We were hiring maybe 4 or 6 weeks prior to the Coldplay concert. My husband and I had decided to separate and were living apart and planning for a divorce. And Andy Byron, my boss at the time, he and I had a very close working relationship. For anyone that's worked in tech in a high growth startup, they'll understand that the chief people officer and the CEO are partners. We work side by side around the clock. It was a high growth startup that was growing at 100% year over year. We were hiring like crazy. And so we were really in it together and spent a ton of time together. And it was about around the time that Andrew and I, my husband, had separated, and Andy, I have the same name, so forgive me, I'll try to keep up here.
Yeah.
Andy and I had gone out to grab sandwiches during the workday, and he asked me, I seemed a little off, and he just said, "What's going on?" And I said, "Well, my husband and I are separating and planning a divorce." And he immediately let me know that he was in the exact same situation, that he and his wife were living apart, they were planning for a divorce, and it had been many years in the making.
I'm gonna pause it there because first of all, look at Oprah. She looking like, ma'am, please. What she's basically saying is her and her husband were already separated. They were already living separate. They was already on track to divorce each other. And her boss was also going through that same situation. So the video that went viral, she's like, don't worry, we're married, but we're not still married. So basically trying to justify the relationship. I just don't understand how this story ended her on Oprah Winfrey's podcast. Oprah? Now, the lady, because of this viral moment, she's selling a class. She's doing webinars and she's selling. Let me see how much the class cost. Hold on. I couldn't believe it. She totally turned this viral moment around and making money from it. She's making money from going viral for kissing and being all lovey-dovey with her boss at a damn Coldplay concert. And now the lady is capitalizing off of it. Let me see if I can pull up. I can't believe it. I was like, what? And she originally started to, yes, her name is Kristen Cabot. She did an exclusive interview with Oprah Winfrey yesterday. You can go on Oprah Winfrey's YouTube channel and you can listen to the full interview. She's promoting a class. She's capitalizing off of the situation. And the only thing that I could think of is we could never, ever, none of us could ever do anything like that. I need you to get in the comments and say, do you think somebody that looks like, oh, excuse me, someone that looks like us would be able to get an interview with the Oprah Winfrey after being caught sneaking with the boss. Oh, I'm so surprised. Dawn said, good for her. Okay, good. What they said, she took lemons and she made lemonade. Good for her. I don't know. I was so surprised by it. But when you look at Oprah's face, Oprah's like, child, I'm not buying it. You sure is buying it because you invited her to your show. I couldn't believe it. She also said that the reason why she really was ducking down was because her daughter was also at the show and she didn't really want like her daughter to see them like that. So she was kind of like embarrassed because the kids honestly don't really know that the parents were separated, whatever it may be, a bunch of excuses. I couldn't believe it. And I just was like, wow, she's actually on the Oprah Winfrey show. Moving on. So if you all have been following, Houston has a big Houston rodeo, and Mama Tina had a booth at the rodeo because they have, part of the rodeo is you have the shows that's going on. Then you also have the booths, kind of like a carnival affair with vendors that's selling goods and foods. And then you also have the amusement park. So Mama Tina knows, Beyonce's mom, she had a booth at the Houston rodeo and she was selling gumbo. I unfortunately saw so many videos on TikTok of people saying the gumbo is nasty, $25 for a small cup. I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. Some people even said that Miss Tina was at the booth and she was being mean, and so many negative complaints about this damn gumbo at the Houston rodeo. Well, she had to shut her booth down because the health department confirmed that they had to temporarily close her booth. They didn't specify the exact reason why the booth was shut down, but they indicated that the issue was going to be resolved. So don't worry, the booth was still going to be back up, but we just don't know why. I saw a few videos of people in Houston saying that they actually got some type of food poisoning. I don't know, but when I think of Houston, I don't think of gumbo. When I think of gumbo, I think of New Orleans. So I don't know if she was probably trying to go back to, I think that's what she's like born and raised from her NOLA Creole roots, but Mama knows the recipe wasn't recipe, according to the people. I ain't say it. I've never been to the Houston rodeo, so I don't know. But I was just like, damn, I just think people just wanted to say something negative because everybody hates Beyonce, and I don't know why. It's so annoying. Anyway, moving on to all my rap fans. If you love Jay-Z, he just recently announced that he will hold on, give me a second to share my screen. He just recently announced that he's going to be at the legendary Roots picnic, and he's going to celebrate the anniversaries of two of his most iconic albums, Reasonable Doubt and The Blueprint. He's going to do something real big. He's going to, I don't know, come out and do a performance. And what's so crazy about it is we went to, was it the Roots picnic? I forgot what was the name of the Roots picnic. I think I went to I don't remember, but I've actually seen Jay-Z live a few times. And it's so crazy because I honestly think that he's a great performer, even though he don't do all the theatrics like these other rappers with, the dancing and being weird. He just gets on the stage and literally raps. But this is like legendary. The Blueprint album came out in September of 2001, and Reasonable Doubt came out in 1996. So it's gonna be a great thing. And he's also gonna be at Yankee Stadium doing two concerts. One is gonna be July 10th and the other one is gonna be July 11th. So he's doing it big. He's gonna headline the Roots picnic, and then he's gonna celebrate back in New York in his hometown July 10th and July 11th. And there are a lot of people that's excited. Let's read some of the comments. Somebody said, I'm excited, but your wife dropping because listen, People saying that she's gonna drop an album too. A lot of people that moved out of New York said, "I'm coming home for this." I bet you them tickets is probably gonna be like $400, 300 to 400. Take a wild guess. Drop in the comments. Let's take a wild guess how much you think those tickets are gonna be for Jay-Z. I don't think you're gonna be able to get a ticket for 100 in the 100s. I don't know, but you know everybody use Afterpay and Klarna. Are y'all going to see Jay-Z in New York at the Yankee Stadium, or y'all gonna go see him in Philadelphia at the Roots Picnic to listen to all the old school songs that he put out? What if he brings out Beyonce as a special guest? I doubt it. Okay, moving on in some more good news. Last week when we spoke about the unfortunate story about the 12-year-old girl in Georgia, she was on the bus coming from a school that she just recently transferred from, and unfortunately she got into an argument at school, gets on the school bus. Her and the girl continues to argue. The bus driver kicks them off the bus, and then her and the girl start fighting outside. They fought. She's 12 years old. In the video, you see her fighting. You see her get up. They both walked away from the fight. Unfortunately, when she walked away, her aunt said that she passed out and her heart stopped. She had a brain injury, and the girl was hospitalized for days, and unfortunately, she did not make it. Her mom went to the news station. The video went viral, and she wants the teenagers charged. No arrest has been made in this situation. She died after the fight. It actually wasn't immediate. It was as result of her falling and getting a head injury, whatever happened. Shaq heard the story. He couldn't believe it, like all of us. And he said, I have to do something to help this family. Listen to what Shaq had to say. He said, as a father, my heart goes out to Jada's family. No parent should ever have to bury their child. And if there's anything I can do to ease even a small part of that burden, then it's the right thing to do. Our community must surround this family with love, support, and compassion during such a painful moment. Shaq reached out to the family, and he has offered to cover 100% of the funeral costs to bury 12-year-old Jada West out of Georgia. She passed away from a head injury as a result of a fight that she had at the school bus. Disgusting. I just cannot believe this story. I'm not going to play the video because I don't like fight videos. I don't like that. And it's disgusting, but if you're that type of person that like to watch fight videos, the videos floating all over online. All you have to search is Jada West, and Shaquille O'Neal stepped up. And I love when celebrities do this because him paying however much the funeral costs is just a dime that he's taken out of his coin bank. It's literally not going to hurt his pockets at all. And it's so nice that he stepped up to do something like that, because who would think that they would have to bury their 12-year-old child as a result of her having a fight about nonsense? Because we all know that they wasn't really fighting about nothing. 12 years old, what are they arguing about? A boy? We don't know, but it's not anything worth dying over. So RIP to that young lady, and I am praying for her family and sending our condolences. So next thing I want to talk about is, what are you guys currently watching? I am addicted to this show on Hulu. It's called Paradise. Let me show you the flyer. Paradise on Hulu. The leading actor in the series is Sterling K. Brown. If you all don't know who Sterling is, he played on the legendary show This Is Us. That's where I originally knew him from, and he is the lead in this series. Let me show you this. Hold on. In the series on Hulu is called Paradise. So without giving you all any spoilers, I'm going to give you a little background on what the show is about. Paradise is about Sterling. His name is Xavier. He is Secret Service for the president. While, serving his role as the president's Secret Service, they experience a natural disaster that literally wipes out the entire world. Like the entire United States got wiped out, and the government created an underground bunker that literally was like a whole nother world, a whole nother city, where all government officials and their close family members can go and board this plane that took them to this underground world in Colorado. And so they basically survived this whole natural disaster, and they were all able to still live, while some people in the world ended up surviving. But it's basically like like one of those apocalypse type movies where everybody's trying to fend for themselves because there's no food, there's nothing. I am currently on season 2, episode 6, and the show is amazing. So if you haven't seen it yet, you definitely need to start at season 1 so that you can catch up and we can chat about it, because it's such an amazing show. What I really love, if you watched it already, season 2 spent a lot of time digging into the stories of people who survived this natural disaster, or was it a nuclear weapon? I don't know. And how they were able to come up out of it and survive 3 years after the disaster happened. So it's sharing those stories, and then it's also following Xavier as he looks for his beautiful wife Terry, because unfortunately she didn't make it to the plane in time to make it to the bunker, and she was in Atlanta on a work trip, and he knows that she's alive because she sent like this radio message, and she said her name, and she said, "I'm alive. There's a bunch of us. We are alive. We are here and trying to survive." So season 2 goes through his journey of looking for his wife and fighting for their love. And it was so good. I'm not going to tell you what happened on episode 6, but you definitely need to watch that show. And of course, the other show that I'm watching on Bravo is Married to Medicine. This past Sunday was the last episode, season finale, and they finally got to the Met Gala. And I honestly think that Toya did a good job. It looked very more like I would say upscale, because as somebody who watched every single season of Married to Medicine, I would say, in my opinion, and you let me know if you agree, every other Met Gala looked very cheap. It looked just thrown together, like they just had it in like the conference room at a hotel. So I think although Toya got a bunch of heat and there was a lot of drama surrounding it, she did her thing. And all she said was, "Ladies, y'all need to give me money." They all put in $2,500 each, and she took their money and she ran with it. And I think the Met Gala came out amazing. And they also gave away $10,000 in scholarships, 5,000 to 2 young women who are currently on their medical school journey, and they donated to them. So it was a charity event. So I can't wait to watch episode 1 of the 2-part reunion series. And I would definitely make some content to give my review on that. But as I can see from the clips, they're still coming down on Toya. But one thing I can say is Toya got her seat right next to Andy, because her and Eugene, they literally was the entire season. They held up the whole season. And if it wasn't for them, I honestly don't think its season would have been that good. Heavenly, she held back this season because y'all know she's running for political office. She's running for local government in Georgia. So I don't think she was trying to do all of the mess that she used to do before to keep the show entertaining, because she's trying to get the votes for her people in Georgia, and they're not going to vote if she's come with all that mess that she usually come with. So I watched that. Something else that I watched this past week and weekend was Love and Marriage Huntsville. They are actually back for another season. And to me, the show was getting so boring. I used to enjoy it before, especially when Melanie and Martell was on the show. Now it seems like they're just meeting up, going out to eat, and Tisha's picking another person to fight with. And I don't like that, because that show literally started out as a core group of couples that had like this bond through real estate and construction, and then now it's just mess. It's just a bunch of mess. But I'm still gonna watch though. So if y'all are watching any of those shows, Love and Marriage Huntsville, Married to Medicine, or Paradise on Hulu, make sure you come back because next week we're gonna talk about the new episodes. And if you don't already, make sure you're following me TikTok at Rae Chats, YouTube Rae Chats, and Facebook Rae Chats, because we will be here every Wednesday to discuss anything that's trending in the news. And you all can send me any type of topics if there's something that you want me to cover before Wednesday, and I'll make sure to put it in the lineup because I'm not limited on what I want to talk about. Let's see. Last but not least, we're going to head out on a good note. Former President Barack Obama announced that he is opening a center in his hometown of Chicago. And he did a cute video. Hold on. Let me see. He is promoting Barack Obama. Okay, I'm going to pull it up. Please excuse me for the delay. So, the Obama Foundation on obama.org, they announced that they will be opening a center, the Presidential Center, and it's going to be a museum, a library, an education project, and it's, hold on, let me pull up on the website. I wish I could show y'all a picture. They have a picture of what it's going to look like. It's going to open in June, starting June 19th. I know they put a lot of money into that. It's a nonprofit. It's a huge cultural institution aimed to inspire, empower, and connect people and bring the change home. But what I loved about it is he announced it with him playing basketball with a basketball player. I forgot the guy's name. Let me see, what is his name? I forgot his name. He was in the news lately too for some drama. He announced through like him playing one-on-one with the NBA player, and they was kind of like joking around. And then he was like, okay, we're going to finish the game at the center to kind of like kick off that he's going to have a basketball court at his center. So it's basically going to be a campus of restaurants, dining, a place where you can shop, a forum, a court, a sky room. Is basically going to be a tourist attraction in the south side of Chicago. That is huge. And it's called the Obama Presidential Center. Obama said, listen, due to the Constitution, I can't run again. Y'all can't have me as president again, but I'm gonna come and give y'all this nonprofit work. Let me see. Let me go to the comments. Yes. So if you want to learn more about the Obama's Presidential Center in Chicago, go to obama.org. And if you have any trips coming up to Chicago, it's opening on Juneteenth, which is a beautiful day to commemorate the end of slavery in Texas, the last place that finally let them free. Juneteenth, you can visit the campus. You can go on the website if you want to support. You can look at the programs. And you know what? I think that's all I have for you all tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. Before I go, I always like to leave you all with a little tidbit, something inspirational, something to get you through the rest of your week. And it's been on the forefront of my mind today. I want you all to remember, don't wait for perfect to start. Just start where you are. Perfection could come later on as you continue to do. Because as long as you're doing and moving, you'll get better at whatever it is. But if you wait for things to be perfect, conditions to be perfect, oh, I got to wait for the perfect outfit. Oh, I got to wait for the perfect this, you will never start. So if there's something that's been heavy on your mind and your heart that you want to do, a place that you want to go, a food that you wanted to try, something that you wanted to buy, it could be something as small as that. Don't wait for perfect. Just do it, because tomorrow's not promised and we never know. Do it now, because now you have the chance. And God is the one who put it on your heart and your mind, and don't ignore him. So I appreciate you all watching me and making sure that you like, comment, subscribe. And if you're watching the replay, come join us next Wednesday at 9, because this is week 4. I'm so excited. This is week 4 of Rae Chats Live. And I will be here, God willing, next week for week 5. And I would love to see you all there. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Good night.